Hi everyone, Kaiser Soze, Maximum Carnage here. Our last war against FYUL, I did a bit of a recap while I've got access to the replays. I thought I'd kind of just go through. Now this matchup was horrible. The other team never had a chance. It wasn't that all of our attacks were so great and perfectly executed. Realistically, we were able to make quite a few mistakes in how we attacked and still be able to easily three-star a lot of their bases. So I don't want to go through and show everybody's base and show where the traps are and stuff like that, but I wanted to point out some of the difficulties with the opposing team's bases, why it was easy for us to three-star, and then hopefully people can kind of work backwards from that to either avoid putting those elements into their bases or not. So the first thing that I want to say is you should never have what they refer to as an internet base. An internet base is a commonly used base that people just copy, that they got somewhere from the internet when they search TH9 war base on Google, and then it comes up, hey, I use this and it never gets three-starred. Okay, great, and I'm going to use that. For war, you should just never do that. If your base style is popular and you see it often, you shouldn't have it on, because those same bases, you can find many videos about how to three-star those bases. So Clash with Ash has a three-star series, for example. Another big one is Gadi HH. So GADI space HH, base beat, BASE space BEAT. If you just Google Gadi HH base beat, it will come up. And I think he's got 10 to 12 pages of internet bases with multiple attacks on how to be able to defeat those bases. So certainly you just want to avoid having a popular style of base. If you see your base and you see your base is popular, there's also going to be a counter to it, and you're also going to be able to have anybody who's anybody figure out how to be able to three-star. Even if they don't know what to do, they can just do that search. So that's step one. And then what we'll do is just go through a couple of these bases here and point out. So this is just a scout on a base, and immediately you look at this base and you say it can be hogged. And there's just no question that this base can be hogged, because if you look around, there's just no space anywhere in here for double giant bombs. So because there's no space for double giant bombs, you say, well, there's nothing that's going to kill hogs if they're under heal. So if you use heals intelligently and have good timing, this base you can definitely take out with hogs. So, and by hogs basically means you're putting in a kill squad of golems, wizards, and heroes, some wall breakers, and a single spell like jump or rage to be able to take out the queen, wall pathing through an area with spaces that you don't know what's in there. That could take out Teslas or giant bombs, whatever it is. And then hogs can come around the outside of the base. If you look, you can see the spaces up here. There's probably Teslas or giant bombs. We know there's giant bombs. The other giant bombs were located outside. So on the first attack, it wasn't three-starred. But once you know where those giant bombs are, it's just a matter of setting them up to avoid them with hogs or whatever you're going to do, and it ends up being easy for an attacker. So the first thing, in terms of good base design certainly, is you want to have spaces, not huge space, but at least multiple locations where double giant bombs could be. And that could be where your Teslas are as well. You just want to hide them, and you want to put them between defenses. So you don't want to put them, for instance, like where these double giant bombs are. Hogs can travel from that archer tower to the other archer tower without ever going up into the spaces where the giant bombs are. The only chance to trigger those giant bombs are if you're putting like giants from the top that are going to run through them, which is what we ended up doing to be able to trip those giant bombs to make sure they didn't kill our hogs. So if your base doesn't have at least one set of double giant bombs that are put between defenses, and your base doesn't have multiple locations for where those double giant bombs can be, then you're going to really run into the risk of being hogged. Even if you have single giant bombs all over your base, single giant bombs will not kill hogs. All you have to do, all the attacker has to do, is then heal where those single giant bombs are. And even if every single hog that he's got runs through them, they won't die. So it just tells the attacker, if you have single giant bombs, it just tells the attacker, I need to place a heal spell here. once they see that scout and be able to go through. And what you'd like ideally is to make it difficult for an attacker to do that, and not be able to say, all I have to do is heal here, and they've made a roadmap because they've put single giant bombs. Multiple spots for double giant bombs, at least one set of double giant bombs. So this, if we click here on the clan castle, brings us to design element number 2. What's in the clan castle? In this particular case, it ends up being a lava. But anybody can draw this clan castle because we know the radius, and it's you can just simply put a hog in any location here to go to any of these defenses, and it's going to draw the clan castle. Now, again, on first run, maybe he's got a Tesla that's somewhere outside of that ring, that when you put it, put down a hog, it goes to the Tesla, and you don't pop open that clan castle. And if they did, I would say, well, that's a pretty good design element, but you have to worry at that particular point, is that Tesla going to do enough damage in the location that it's at to make it simply difficult for an attacker to take out that clan castle or pull the clan castle? For instance, a single Tesla is easily taken out by dropping a giant followed by a whiz. The giant tanks, and then the whiz takes out the Tesla, and then they're back on and they're moving forward, and that giant is going to draw the clan castle. So it takes 9 troops instead of 5. And is that worth it? It's absolutely worth it. So better bet is to have that clan castle somewhere in the interior of the base. That means that it cannot be lured by somebody just simply deploying or putting down a troop. So this is number 5. And you can see this one, it's right on the edge. Now, these archer towers, if you put a hog, you can see where that line is. The hog has to be sitting on the other side of that line if you put a hog in. If you put a giant, it's just going to go to the wall and not do it. These cannons, if you get the hogs to go to the cannons, will draw the clan castle. But as we found, there was some problems, at least in this base, in trying to do that, because the hogs would redirect because there ends up being Teslas in front of that town hall. So we take a look at this base, and what do we see? Well, the big striking thing is the core. Is there any space in the core? No. Is there any giant bombs in the core? No. Are there any spring traps in the core? No. What else is in the core? All of the air defenses are in the core. So we know if we can take out all of those air defenses, literally we can put loons in on the outside of the base without the fear of knowing that they're going to fail as a result of the air defenses. So taking all of the air defense, centralizing your air defense in the core, and especially centralizing defensive units without even having wall divisions between them, means it's really easy for an attacker. So you should never put your air defenses together in the same compartment, and you don't want to have them in the same place in the base, because when somebody takes it out, in this particular case, Captain took it out because he was a Town Hall 10 and just kind of steamrolled it. But I was able to take it out certainly with Govalo, Valkyries, getting the Valkyries to the core, damaging the core, and then putting air troops on the outside, and that base goes down. And not only is that a strategy that was developed, but the bigger point is it's a clear strategy that immediately somebody starts at when they look at the style of base that you've got. So it just kind of gives that, again, that roadmap for attackers for what to do. So are there giant bomb locations? And as you look through and you say, yeah, it's probably up here, there's double giant bombs. And down below, that's really the only other space, and it's likely that there's Teslas. Who's going to put giant bombs just at the bottom with no Teslas and give up their town hall that easily on this base? One sec. So, it could be this guy, it could be somebody else. They could do it as a way of manipulating, putting Teslas somewhere else on the top end by the Barb King. It's just unlikely for that to happen, because once that scout happens, it's going in. But in either case, it would be the same. It's just simply not a good base design, not a good strategy. So that was the hog base, and we go down here. This again, you can see that there's no double giant bomb locations anywhere in the base. These empty spaces very likely are where the Teslas are placed, and that's what ended up being. But otherwise, there is nothing that's going to take out hogs. There could be a spring trap here, but not a giant bomb. So where are the giant bombs? It doesn't make sense if they put them just in this dead space at the top, although it could be. almost certainly the giant bombs are going to be found somewhere towards the interior of the clovers, I guess, if you will, in front of this air sweeper, for instance, and over there. And it's just telegraphed. I know where the Teslas are. I know where the giant bombs are. It makes it really easy for an attacker to come up and counter with that. And again, because there's no spaces and there's no giant bombs that are put in between defenses, no reason for hogs to jump over them as they travel from one defense to another. It tells an attacker, use hogs. If you do have a golems whiz and your heroes with a kill squad, take out the archer queen and run through where one one giant bomb can be. All you have to do is keep your hogs healed, while if they take any damage from the other giant bombs, then you're going to be able to 3-star it. And that's all they have to do. So this base here, you can see the clan castle, easily lurable, no question whatsoever. That it's simple. It's got a hole over here. But as you go through it, you can say, are there double giant bomb locations? And you can say, well, yes, there is. So there could be a double giant bomb down there. There could be giant bombs there, although naturally that's not directly between defenses. Something would path from that wizard tower to that cannon to that archer tower, so there's no reason for it to go into those spaces, so that doesn't make sense. Same with over here. From the archer queen to this cannon, things would be going from other defenses to other defenses. So there wouldn't be a reason for it to path over there. There's no spaces over there. There is space for double giant bombs down here as well. Normally double giant bombs, though, good placement, isn't on the outer ring, because all somebody has to do is take out the cannon, for instance. If this cannon is gone, then hogs could go from that mortar to this archer tower. They would then path up to the crossbow, over to the air defense, over to the archer tower, and it would just kind of carry on. There would never be any hogs that even go to where that bomb is. So certainly, clan castle should not be able to lure it. Multiple double giant bomb locations, that kind of makes sense. And here, there could be in the core. I think this base was done by Chaser using a go wipe with some back end hogs. Hogs came in from somewhere around 6 o'clock, maybe the 4:30 wall, and the hogs did a ton of damage because there was nothing that hurt them all the way through the bottom. And it was a fresh hit 3-star with a standard attack. So as we go through, we can see the same theme is coming up. Where are the hogs, or where are the double giant bombs? Realistically, there's just spaces on the outside with nothing to path them through that's easy enough to kind of account for with your regular troops, especially getting easy access to the queen. Another base design element, you shouldn't have your queen anywhere on the outside. Literally, all you have to do in this base, you can put down a barbarian on this army camp, and the queen will start taking them out. You put the barbarian right behind a barb king, the barbarian king, and once the queen starts shooting at the other troop, the barb king will leave what it's doing and it will go and kill that queen, and now the queen is dead, and that's a great defensive troop. So it's something that you can be mindful of as well. But no spaces for giant bombs, easy to take care of. This particular base has no spaces for double giant bombs again in that outer ring. There are some double giant bomb locations that could be in the center that make it difficult, but because of the pathing, again, here's the queen, you can come in on the archer side with a kill squad, take out the queen, and as that kill squad just pushes into the core, it's certainly going to remove one of the double giant bomb locations. And if you can imagine this base with a nice big chunk taken out of it from this town hall all the way through, with this entire compartment area being taken out with a kill squad, it really provides a nice U-shaped pattern for hogs to follow with no double giant bombs around the outside. So, and then just back to the clan castle on this one. So I think we're going to leave it there for now, just in terms of those two elements. Clan castle should not be easily lured. Put it more centralized, move some defenses out, do what you have to do to make sure that the attacker has a cost associated with popping whatever's in your clan castle. And then make sure that you have some space with at least one double giant bomb location, somewhere that's in the middle between defenses that normally hogs would have to pass through. As long as you have multiple locations for it and one actual location, it's going to throw off an attacker and not make it really easy, regardless of the other elements that you have in your base. So later in other videos, we'll get into more about defending air attacks. Well, you just don't see those quite as often anymore. Hogs seem to be the big unit that's been in play, aside from the Go Wipes and the Go Wee Wees and all those other Go Wee X attacks, if you will. All right. Kaiser Soze, maximum carnage.